Hey people, Trish Wood here, and this is the Midweek Meltdown. I wanted to talk about something that happened a little while ago, but I didn't remark on it immediately just because I was kind of absorbing it. It threw me off kilter a little bit, and I was trying to figure out why so that I could give you a more fulsome analysis of what I thought had happened there. And that is the town hall between Joe Biden and Anderson Cooper that happened just a little while ago on CNN. After I saw it, I was really kind of knocked off balance for a little while. And I've been thinking about what it was that bothered me. Obviously, you know, Joe Biden said some things that were not honest and some things that made no sense, which is pretty typical for him these days. But it was worse for me this time. And what I realized upon thinking about it is that the one question that should be asked of Joe Biden by a journalist in a live situation right now was not asked. When I say live situation, I mean because the really juicy questions should be asked then so that the politician has no escape, right? They can't wheedle out of it. So you save those questions for moments like a live town hall. And that's where history, you know, should be made. It's a golden opportunity for the media to get truths out of politicians who never want to give them. But that didn't happen. And there was so much that went on during that town hall that suggested that this question should have been asked, that I was getting more and more disturbed the more I thought about it. And hence I'm here today telling you what I think. We all know that Joe Biden is cognitively impaired. I don't think that's disputed by any sane, honest people these days. And yet nobody's really talking. It's talked about in the periphery. It's talked about in conservative media. Mainstream media, not so much. And so what happened after that town hall where Joe's problems were on full floodlit display is that different media outlets handled it in different ways. Newsweek, for instance, took a bunch of the kind of blunders he made and didn't report on the blunders themselves, but rather how they became meme-worthy and wasn't it funny, which I thought was a real abdication of responsibility, but there you go. But the biggest issue for me was the one question that Anderson Cooper didn't ask. He had a chance to ask it. Anderson Cooper, I don't know personally. I do know people who were in the field with him back in the day when he was kind of a baby foreign correspondent, really trying hard to prove himself because he came from a super privileged background, and you know, reporters kind of don't like those people. So he had to work harder, but he was sincere. He did a good job. He's not a bad reporter. But I think something happens when you take the anchor desk these days and they're paying you, you know, $7 to $10 million a year. They're not paying you that money to report news they don't like, right? I'm not saying he's doing that he's been captured, but it does seem that the anchor desk in many places is now kind of a news-free zone. And, you know, the anchors are not going to give up that money to start dropping ugly truths about the system that they defend. So, but I don't know personally about Anderson. But anyway, there was a single question he should have asked. It was a glaring question. He never asked it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a piece of tape, and it's of what they call the jetpack moment. And it's when Joe Biden stands there frozen, like he's going to take off in a kind of a Jetsons family jetpack and go shooting straight up the moon. He's frozen there for like 20 seconds or so. It's like really weird. And Anderson's kind of dodging around it. He doesn't call it out, even though it's right in front of him. He looks like he might be sort of embarrassed, but he just kind of lets it roll on while the president of the leader of the free world is doing this incredibly bizarre thing. Watch this.
About that, with just in terms of inflation, because you had told us at a town hall, I think it was in July, that this was just near-term inflation. The Wall Street Journal recently talked to like 67 financial experts who said that they saw high inflation going all the way or deep into 20.
See what I mean? It was nuts. So for me, the question that Anderson Cooper should have asked is this: when was your last health check? When was your last cognitive test? and what were the results? Absolutely fair game to ask that question. They hounded Donald Trump, who had a lot of problems. Cognitive impairment was not one of them, but they hounded him about that. Fair game. Now we have a president who clearly is struggling, and nobody's asking him that question in a meaningful way, in a situation where he's going to have to answer. In fact, they're covering for him. His comms team covers for him. The White House team covers for him. His family covers for him. Nobody wants to talk about it, and I don't think they're doing him any favors. I don't like to see an old guy like Joe Biden struggling that way. My natural instinct is to protect him, right? I also don't like Joe Biden particularly. I don't think he's honest, or I don't think he's ever been honest. I mean, Obama doesn't even like him. And I think he's a liar, and that's also proven. He got busted 88 million times in the past for lying. I don't even know how why he's in the position he's in right now. I mean, the Democratic Party wanted it. Who knows why? They must have other plans. But this is not a guy I have a ton of respect for. Having said that, I don't want to see him flounder and fail. I don't. But I don't think he should be in that job in the shape that he's in. And I feel like the media not asking the question is enabling that. So let me tell you about the other ways that we normally see when the legacy media fails us. They're either lying about something, or they're gaslighting about something, or they're withholding information, like the Hunter Biden laptop story. They just didn't publish that. That's one of the reasons Joe Biden was elected. They just buried the story with the help of social media. So those are and you saw other things about the Russia hoax and other things where they were just inventing things out of whole cloth, relying on sources who were clearly compromised and had an agenda, the same ones over and over. It was ridiculous, right? We now have an indictment of one of Hillary Clinton's lawyers in that case, so that will reveal more of this. But it's true, they were lying about that. But this is really significant too, that the whole country, not the whole country, because it didn't get very good ratings, but at a town hall on what used to be a major network, you can have the President of the United States exhibiting a whole bunch of cognitive impairments and struggles, including not remembering the name of the other port in California that Anderson Cooper had to help him out with. And yet nobody's commenting on it in a meaningful way, right? I think Fox News may have, but that's about it. This is not good. They are not doing people any favors by behaving this way. So understand that this is another way. It is a question that needs to be asked. People should be demanding that he take a test and demanding that the results be made public. He fell asleep in Europe at the big climate change meeting. He says climate change is an existential threat, and he couldn't keep his eyes open. That was kind of embarrassing. I don't think this can go on much longer. Certainly we see a number of things happening in America that are really questionable about whether even the country can survive it. I don't know, but they need someone who is fast on his feet right now, and I'm not sure that Joe Biden is the guy. I say that completely apolitically. The last thing I want to say is just that the gaslighting, they went after Joe Rogan hard because he took a product that was made for human beings and prescribed by a doctor, and very smugly on CNN said it was horse paste. And then Joe had Sanjay Gupta on to kind of a new one about that, and he did it, and it was like shooting fish in a barrel because Sanjay really had no response. The network is doing what it's being accused of doing, and it's a sad day in journalism, folks. So I hope that I have educated you a little bit on what to look for and what to expect, and I'll see you next time. Stay critical. See ya.